Next VCR. This time we got I don't have a service manual for it, but I found this, which does have some relevance. We've got the National NV-H65. So given that it's in this list of models here, it's probably pretty similar to an NVG20 or 21, but it's got the addition of hi-fi sound, because if we look here, it says audio, FM audio section, and then in brackets NV-H65. So I think that it's the only model in that series that's got hi-fi sound. And this training manual details all about how that works. The audio heads on the video head drum, which are mounted at a slight angle to the video heads, says audio heads are installed in positions respectively, each being 120 degrees from the adjacent video head, enabling audio signals to be properly recorded onto the center position of the video track of the tape. That means the gap between them, right? After the audio signals are properly recorded on the tracks, video signals are recorded on the same tracks via the video heads. Thus, both the audio and video signals are recorded on the tracks in layers, not only by varying the azimuth angles of the audio and video heads, but also by effectively varying the FN modulated record frequencies. Both the audio and video signals can be drawn out of the recorded tracks practically without any problem. Yeah, so they exist in different frequency bands, and the angle of the signal is slightly different. Hi-fi audio. Alright, so I've got 3 of these VCRs, and so hopefully we can find something good. We can get one to work, maybe. Let's have a look at it. So on the front we have the usual standby VTR power switch, eject button, tape in indicator, but look, we got an earphone socket this time. That's quite exciting. Better than an Apple phone. This thing actually has an earphone socket. A headphone jack. Over here there's an audio level display, and it's also going to be used as hi-fi tracking indicator, because the tracking is quite critical for getting the hi-fi sound off. There's a little push open button which opens a flap, which contains buttons on the flap, as well as revealing some controls in there. So we've got an earphone level adjustment, pretty nice. Tracking control, manual rotary knob thing, slow tracking, picture sharpness, edit, which is a signal boosting type thing. Then there is whether the audio level is displayed or not, or it's being used for hi-fi tracking. An MPX filter. Is that something to do with cutting down interference in the broadcast? An input selection. You can use the VCR for audio only, high quality audio recorder, or you can get the signal from the tuner, or the simulcast, which I'm pretty sure that means you can tune in a channel, but the audio is taken from the audio line inputs. I think that's for when the corresponding stereo audio is broadcast on FM radio, and you can then record it with the video here. Then on the front part, unusually, the tuner controls are there, and also the clock controls, automatic time recording, TV VGR selection. Very squashed up there, up the back. Then the normal tape transport controls, channel selection, record, and an audio select, which I think chooses whether you're playing back the normal audio heads, or the hi-fi stereo, or just hi-fi left or hi-fi right, so that you can have different languages stored on left and right channels of the hi-fi audio. On the back here we see that switch mode power supply. Now we get stereo audio in and out, and video in and out on B and C connectors, so that's pretty good quality. There's auto color test selector there, the RF in and out, and that's it. Well, that sits on the back. Let's take this thing apart, have a look what's inside, and we'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, we'll try out some of those other ones that I've got sitting down on the floor here and see if we can get something to work. What have we got in here? Another thing that looks quite a lot like the G20, G25, G40, although there's extra stuff. Look, things over here, no transformer. Let's switch my power supply over here, but the board continues all the way over. The other one we looked at, the board stopped along here, and then there was just a gap. That was a D48, wasn't it? It had the digital stuff down this edge, and that one had a power supply over here. Let's see what the video head's like. It's possibly going to vibrate because, you know, one of those oil type bearings that probably gone bad. Right, we'll plug this in and see if it powers up. It turned on with a bit of a squeak, and the clock there, 1986, so I guess that somewhat dates this. Wow, it turning on is a good sign. Let's put this in. If we go straight to a real tape, we might as well. Tape might even have hi-fi sound on it. No one ever fills in those things to tell you what it's got. This will get hopeful and connect up the video output. Oh, is that going to jinx it into not working? Alright. It seems to be doing its thing. Does it just work? Roughly works. It's just a very dark picture because of, you know, this movie, but otherwise, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, this tape has hi-fi sound on it too. Have a look at this. See the level displays. Left and right are lit up, which means it's receiving hi-fi audio. If we put the tracking into the fixed position, center, you see that's not. It's not aligned well enough, so it can't pick. It's not switching into hi-fi audio mode. If we change the switch down here to hi-fi tracking, you can see the tracking level. And as we turn the tracking knob, it'll go down or up. And you want to adjust that to get the maximum amount on the display. At which point, if you're lucky, the hi-fi audio will kick in. Seems like it might be a bit marginal. That's pretty good. Yeah, what will happen is if the signal's not good enough quality, then it will mute the hi-fi audio and fall back to the normal audio off the linear audio head where the regular audio comes from. So that should be a stereo head. So it should still, in theory, do linear stereo. Although that's not very high quality because the audio track's very narrow on these. So this VCR seems to be in good working order. In that case, let's take apart one of the other ones I've got, which are probably the not working ones, and then we can investigate their insides. Doesn't really want to ruin a good thing. This seems to be going well. Pretty good pause. Probably has a good slow, but again, I don't have the remotes here. Just making a bit of a bumpy noise. It's possible something is getting a bit unhappy in there. Let's put this one back together and we'll take a different one apart. One that probably doesn't work. Because the other two I got off the scrap pile, so they probably have been previously determined to be not worthwhile. Look at that. The dodgy gases coming out of the power supply. Rusting it right through. Some tape is over that, probably just got rust dropping down. Yeah, watch out for the rust. Amazing, a machine that just goes on the first try. Pretty sure this one won't go on the first try because its cover's not screwed down. It's got no bottom. See under there, It's just another G20 or G series mechanism. It's a bit damaged. There's it lost. Something's cracked out. Good toothed belt, so it's not going to slip. You can see there we get a peek of what's possibly an audio, the hi-fi audio board. Some crust there from the bottom panel. Maybe something's leaked or been spilled. Now, whoa, that's dirty. Alright, let's get this apart. This does definitely have some problem because the door seems to have cracked off and does not hinge in anymore. We'll see what its problem is and have a good look inside as we go. Yeah, interesting, it's got a metal strip along the top there because that board is separate, but I guess they want them to stay together so that they can hinge out together. You've got to be really careful when taking these models apart, as we've found in the previous several models, that you have to undo that screw, otherwise you end up snapping the board off because that's grounding it, and for some reason that's not a red screw. Or it's faded in all these machines. Possible. Something very crusty there. Very bad condition capacitor there. It looks like it's in the analog audio section again. So yeah, like the previous models, some dodgy caps in the audio section of these. I'm wondering, does the power supply come out with this? Maybe. Since it's got arrows pointing to the screws that will hold the power supply in from the back, so maybe it all comes out with it, although maybe it would need that screw done up to pull the power supply with it, in addition to that corner one. Who knows? Find out. Okay, we're going to have to get the front panel off, I think. Well, this might be one of those ones that the front panel is not part of the main board, because it doesn't have any clips there, but you know, we want to look at the front panel at least. I think this is another one of those multi-part ones, because it's got the flap that comes down. To open that, and then we can get this part off. Yeah, that's all cracked out. There, it's lost part of its thing. Oh yeah, that's broken off as well. Oops, it clipped that on. Has it broken? Maybe it's just dislodged. The spring went somehow. Yeah, so we've got a earphone connector headphone jack board that's on its own little mount that is like independently mounted, so wiggling the earphone isn't going to crack other parts. It looks like it's possible to have microphone inputs, and that would be in those positions. On a different model, maybe one microphone input, you can see there's a blank there. There's a little aluminium strip there. So there should be one more connector perhaps. On a different version that has microphone inputs, tracking control knobs, the volume level, other switches, the LED display, its own little board there. Interesting integrated LED module thing. Does it lift off? No, because it's soldered down anyway. Yeah, so I think that's surface mount LEDs, and then this diffuser plastic assembly thing, probably heat stake attached on top. The display is probably the same display that was in the other models we looked at recently, and that will have an IC under it for microcontroller display driving. Now, in theory, this model we can pull the main board up without pulling the front boards off, because it looks like they've left wire there for that. Thoughtful. Let's see if that works out. Yeah, I think all this has to lift up a long way because of the power supply. Let's lift up. Oh yeah, there's a clip here that needs undoing to release the cables. I think there's something there. Here we go. Yes, plastic clip, which that's the back of. And then will this turn over? Sort of. Quite a bit of pulling. Oh, I think the wires are twisted around. Yeah, it's because this one here going up to this part They've been cable tied to them in a twisted around fashion, so they're like on top of each other. Anyway, we've got it open. Not too difficult, and you can reach the power cord through that hole in the back, get this thing up and running while it's open. Maybe we should try and do that. Should probably turn this thing on, right? Didn't come all this way for nothing. I'm going to try and put the spring back on this. So we can get the little front door thing back into position. The mechanism might be in the wrong... Maybe this one's lost its timing. We've got the door on. Should we plug this in and see what happens? See if it goes bang. Alright, here we go. See, that's free. Dead. Oh no, it came on this time. Ah, okay. Yeah, the caps will be bad in the power supply. So if you turn it on, clock's flashing. As soon as you hit the switch on the front, the little standby on button, it dies. So I guess the caps have gone bad, so as soon as you put a significant load on the power supply, it will go out of regulation. Definitely bad caps, and yeah, the state that that board's in, be aware, this stuff's getting old and does not want to work anymore because of that. Alright, we'll have a good look over the boards. It's stinky. Just wondering if I should undo these cables so that we can get a better look at it. Because I really want to tip that upside down. Let's see, we'll just pull this one apart. Problem is that cable won't come out. You see, they've gone, well, this is an older machine, isn't it? The other ones were 88, this one's 86. A proper plug joining the cable onto the mechanism down there. Much better than the other two machines that we looked at recently, which had that horrible wire thing that pull out it just by looking at it the wrong way and then not want to go back in. We're not going to be able to pull those wires out because they're connected at the other end. Well, connected. I can get the head amp off. Oh, yeah, it's not welded. Well, it's got a coarse thread screw on it now. Well, in this version, not the fine pitch machine thread type thing. Maybe they realized that there were problems with them, like friction welding together. Head amplifier. There's two ICs there. Probably nothing on the back side of the board. Oops. No, there is stuff. There you go. Like one surface mount IC that's gone through the wave probably. Looks like it, a bit kind of crusty from flux. Now we can get to that, which is the... What is that? Is that all it needs for the motor? 3 cores and a shielded. Guess so. That there will be a capstan motor signal. Oh, it tips out easily now. Yeah, capstan motor. Which, yeah, we're not going to be able to undo that because the connector won't fit through the hole. We'd have to take the whole mechanism out. Anyway, look at that. We can tip it over enough that we can get in there and investigate it. Now that we've got these out of the way. I wonder if I or someone's already been in this power supply. See, it looks like that soldering's been touched up in some way. Yeah, someone has been in there. Perhaps we should get the power supply off and look at it. It's definitely ruined. Well, it's not in working order right now. Possibly not ruined, but not functioning. If it's only had its secondary caps replaced, then the ones on the primary side are probably ruined now, because that's the one that seems to kill them. There's some little tiny electrolytics on the primary side of these power supplies, and if you don't attend to those, then it'll die. Sometimes quite spectacularly, probably because they upset the switching operation. Maybe it hasn't been opened, or that solder joint just cracked off. No, it is still done up. It's just interesting that there looks very reworked. Not sure if that's been replaced or not. Can we get this side off? probably way to crack through some solder though. Soldered on both sides. Guess it just helps the shielding a bit more. Okay, peel this stuff out. So we're only double insulated. Now, has someone been in here? Yeah, it looks like someone has been in here at some point, because be careful to touch this thing because it could still have high voltage on that side since we recently powered it up and it recently stopped switching without running, like with power still on it, and it stopped operating, so it's possible it could have left a charge on that. You can see here on the secondary side, which is low voltage, there is flux residue around some caps which won't be factory. So these would have been through the wave solder originally, and so the flux is fairly tidy around them. But definitely those have more shiny joints and there's flux around them and bits of solder residue. That one, those, that. So it has been recapped quite a long time ago probably because there's dust formed on them. But have they done the ones on the primary? Those two down there. Typically I need to do the main cap. It doesn't look like it because yeah, those still look like all original soldering. So yeah, it's probably those caps which is causing it to not work right now. Maybe we should try to replace them. What the values are if I've got some knocking about. Possible. I'll look into that. I'll consider it. Okay, if we have a look at the board here, got a bunch of things. That's the video stuff. Luminance, chrominance, that. Not sure what those are. The TV tuners over here on that board. This is video, I think it's just the rest of the video stuff. And then here, that will be hi-fi audio, I think. It's on its own little pegs and it can fold up. And then click into position. That's lovely. It reveals quite a lot of stuff. It's got a ribbon cable connecting up to it. And yeah, some caps going really bad in there. The same ones, those kind of light purpley coloured ones, all crustified under those. They're having a great time. Same as that one that's over in the audio section. Does seem quite a lot. Yeah, I just realized I haven't put my lights on. No wonder it's looking a bit weird today. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Too eager to get going on this, right? Or was the picture better like that? Anyway, you can see there, that little purpley coloured cap has spewed some stuff out of it and it's starting to corrode the parts around it. Similarly, that one there, and probably the others if we looked close around them. Yeah, you can see there's another one there, and there's one there. There's the capstan motor driver I see there, heatsink clamped onto it, and the insulator around that. There's another power regulator thing there. There. There's system control. There'll be a main microcontroller there that does all the good stuff. And I think that there is servo things. Let's say servo there, so presumably it is. The regular analog audio, like linear audio, is in this area here. And we have video over here. Okay, what's the next step? We try to fix that power supply, shall we? Weirdly, those wires were caught by that and wrapped around the other post all the way to over here. That's the capstan motor cable. I wonder if they're holding this up out of the way of other things. A bit weird. In that case, we're going to have to put all the stuff back in case this thing powers up and works. Maybe we should cut the cable tie off over here so that this stuff can pull out a bit easier. Yeah, it's all wrapped around these wires which go over to the tuner part. Probably for good reason. Oh yeah, so coming out of the head amp part, there is a shielded cable. And normally in these machines the video signal is not coming out on a shielded cable. It must be, I don't know, not susceptible to interference. Yeah, but now with this hi-fi version there is a shielded cable with 3, and that is going to this board up here for the hi-fi audio. So there you go. That's where that comes from or goes to. I think we need to screw this back down, do we? These are not the right screws, are they? Putting the wrong screws in. Those are bigger than these ones. Yeah, there we go. It's got to lock into the original thread. You don't want to be cutting a new one. Alright, let's push this off to the side a bit. And we're going to have a look at the power supply. Just get out a meter to measure the voltage because I don't want to touch this thing if it's got voltage on it. 0.287 volts, so we're probably alright. It's kind of a soldering iron thing up and running. Use this thing since it's got a longer cord than the proper soldering iron that's over there. It's a good thing for cleaning the tip. Okay. So we want to add a little bit of fresh solder onto the things that we're trying to get out because otherwise it's going to be difficult. Need to find out where are they. I think it's that C12, C39. Looks like it. I wonder if they're the same value. Probably not, just to make the job more difficult. And if we use the desoldering pump on these things, just push the legs up with the soldering iron tips so that they're feeling a bit more likely to want to come out. Be very careful with these single-sided boards because you can very easily rip the pads off. So when they're warm from the soldering iron or melting the solder, glue will soften under the pads and they'll just float away if you're not careful. Pads will float away. They'll just get stuck to the soldering iron tip and come off or be pulled out by a component. And then you got a big job on your hands sorting that out. Okay, I think they're going to come out easily. Some kind of grabbing device. So pull out this one first and we'll look at its value. This is a 47 mic 16 volt C39 and then we got a 47 mic 16 volt. Great, that's good, that's what we want. So I've got to go and forage somewhere for some replacement caps. Let's see what I can find. I know I've got a lot of 10 mic and I've got a lot of 100 mic. Is it a waste because we're just putting this in just to see if that makes it work or not? 4.7 mic, 1 mic, 10. There you go, there's two 47 mic 16 volt caps. Guess we'll use these. But then we got some nice good caps used up in this thing just to try it out. Oh well. Feed these down. Make sure the polarity is right. Luckily it's written on the board there. Says plus and minus in green silkscreen. They both go around the same way. That's a sign of a good design, isn't it? So that when you're checking everything lined up around the right way, you check to make sure that they're all around the same way. Need better pliers, those ones. Okay, so those are in. Yeah, so whoever did this didn't understand the importance of these two capacitors. Whoever replaced the last lot, maybe it was me, who knows. Solder those back in. Good. We'll just try it like that. See what happens. We need to, well, I don't know, put back the blast shields. Maybe we should, just to be nice. Well, I don't want to accidentally touch it when we're plugging it in. Thick, good quality insulations. And then whatever this is went in there somewhere. Maybe. Or do they go in there? I don't know. It's got a ridge down it like that. There we go. I think this one goes in first. It's kind of like, it's like polycarbonate, and then this is some other kind of stuff. What's that? UL doesn't believe in polycarbonate? Not as an insulator. Alright, let's juice this up and see what happens. Oh, that's why the wires are easier to put in now, because this power supply is not in the way blocking them. Alright. Guess that's the secret. Wonder how dodgily we can just poke this in and see if it works. So we should put back on the cover then in case something flies out of it. Flies out. Well, you never know with these things. These old dodgy things. Alright. So that usually sits in there, but we're just going to lay it on the top. We're going to put these dodgy wires back in. I think this is one of the models where the power supply isn't compatible with the G21, the G20 and G21's power supply. Plug this in. That is very dodgy there. That's falling apart as I try to put that in. So yeah, that's not going to be plugged in and out many more times at all, if any. Is anything else still left to be plugged in on this? Only the audio control head. Alright, smoke test. Yeah, doesn't work at all now. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now, that's a shame. Are my replacement caps dodgier? Or do you think the other caps have gone now as well? Because it was a bit stinky. So something was definitely going on in there. It does make a little bit of a click. Just wondering if maybe I haven't put that in correctly. Yeah, it's not a very good thing, those wires there, and they don't look... It's definitely around the right way, as it sits like that. I wonder if it cracked the solder pushing on that thing, because... Oh well. Doesn't want to know, does it? It's unfortunate. A waste of two capacitors that may not work properly. Or did I forget to do something? Pretty sure we put everything else back. Now, it could be that that's touching metal. Don't know if there's anything conductive in that area. Is it that simple? That bit of metal there was under the edge of the board. I don't think so. The only thing there is that trim pot, and we weren't near that. Oh well, at least we got to look inside it, which was the main purpose of this, so that it's not lost in history. Yeah, so there you go. That's a look at a national. None of the three that I got are Panasonic. They're all national. NV-H65, a G20-like VCR, but it's got hi-fi sound, and one of them worked. Exciting. I think this is going to get scrapped because, or I don't know. We'll just put it back together and you can just sit there and think about what it's done. Pretty sure I need to get rid of all this stuff. Yeah, this one was already in a dodgy state because it didn't have the, what do you call that thing? The cover? Bottom cover wasn't installed on it. Maybe we'll just leave that off and just put this back in for now. Doesn't want to do that, does it? Yeah, it's pretty corroded around there. I think it got upset because we untied all those wires. Good as new, just what we want, right? Alright, there you go. There's a look at an NV-H65 VCR. And the exciting news is next time we'll have a look at an H70, because I've got one of those, two of those I think. So yeah, stay tuned for that.